Okay, so today we're going to make crepes. Crepes are basically a French pancake, very thin, not a lot of flour or anything in them. When you look around, all the Europeans have a different form of a pancake in some form or another. And then, of course, there's the Canadian flapjack kind of thing that we do here. Like Dutch pancakes are a little thicker. They're like a crepe, but they're a little thicker than a crepe. Little different recipes, but it just goes to show you that when you're doing around the world, everybody has a different idea of what a pancake is. Okay, so today we're going to make French crepe pancakes. So we're going to start with 3 cups of milk. Then I'm going to do a cup and a half of all-purpose flour. And I'm just going to whisk that all out. Then I'm going to add a tablespoon of sugar, and a half a teaspoon of salt. And I'm just going to whisk that off. Now, unlike conventional pancakes that we use, there's a lot of eggs in a crepe, right? Now this is a big batter. It'll make 22 crepes, provided they all come out good, and depending on the size of them. Okay, I'm going to use this pan, right, which hopefully will make a nice crepe. I've never done them in this pan, because I've always made crepes at school, but here we go. So now, 6 eggs. One, 2, 3. Can you count with me? 4, 5, and 6. And we're just going to whip that all out. Now you can see that it's really forming a nice batter now. It's got a nice color. Now that's from all the eggs coming into it. Just want to make sure I get all the flour and everything mixed really, really well. Okay, now, and this is very important, ladies and gentlemen. All right, you have to strain the batter. You want to make sure that all the flour that didn't get whipped in, all right, see how there's those little lumps there, and you're going to see them in the pan too, or in the sieve. All right. This is a fairly fine mesh sieve, so just want to shake that all out. Okay, so all that is now out of the batter, and we'll just wash that all up when the time comes. And now I've got my nice smooth batter. It's looking pretty good. Now the only thing is, it now has to rest. Right? You've kind of got the gluten stuff going, and you want to make sure that it rests a little bit. And it helps if it helps just to do that for at least an hour in the fridge. If you can go 2, that's even better. But at least an hour in the fridge. So if you want to make this for crepes for breakfast, you might want to make it the night before and have it sit in the fridge. And I'm going to get the rest of my prep ready, and while I'm doing that, you guys can take a break and we'll be back. Okay, so we're back. It's time to make the crepes. My stuff chilled for about just over an hour. Now you need a hot pan. Now there's a couple of things that make it really tricky. First of all, we're not in a crepe restaurant where they have those special fancy things. We're going to do it in the pan. So my pan's hot, but I want to make sure, it's a non-stick pan too, but I want to make sure that it's got a little bit of oil in it. Now, this is trial and error, right? So you're going to want to try and just see how much batter you really need. And once you get it in the pan, work it around. And then get it back on the heat when you've got a nice. If it's too thick, it's not going to be a it's going to be a pancake. It's not going to be a crepe. And the trick is getting these flipped. Now there's several different ways. If we were at the school, we'd have one way. I just want to make sure that they set up a little bit before I even attempt to flip it. Now it's not going to be anything fancy. I'm just going to make sure that they're heated through on the other side. There you go. It's not perfect, but it's got a nice color to it. The pan's about the right heat. And of course, once you get the one side done, it's not that hard. Again, make sure my pan's oiled. And you may want to use your tongs, because you don't want to be burning yourself, right? So, again, a little bit of oil on the pan. And this is trial and error, folks. It truly is. I've had a couple of mishaps myself today, only because I don't do crepes enough to get the technique down. But I wanted to show you guys a rough idea on how to do it. And maybe you can do it at school, at home, and outshine me. I'm okay with that. I'm okay with people doing better than I do. I have a huge ego, it's just not that big. You just want to make sure that it's pretty much all set up before you start to even think about flipping it. I think I'm getting worse and better. A bit of oil. And again, the trial and error with making your crepes. Okay, so now I'm going to stuff my crepes, or I'm going to make the fillings for the different crepes. And I'm going to do at least 3 different kinds here. So the first thing I want to do is I want to get my pan hot, and I'm going to add a couple of tablespoons of butter. I'm going to let that melt down. And to that I'm going to add my apples. Now I just got a little bit of apple here. You can add as much as you want. And to that I'm going to add a tablespoon or so of brown sugar. And probably, I'm going to say, a half a teaspoon of cinnamon. And that all there, I'm going to let it make a sauce. And what I'm doing is I'm basically making a caramel. Just let them seep out a little bit. I don't want them to get mushy, but I do want them to take on a little bit of the heat, and I want that caramel flavor. And you know what? Let's do a little salted caramel. Right, just a little bit. Just to kind of give it a little bit of a flavor there, a little flavor to it. Okay? So now that I've done that, I'm going to take my crepe. And I'm just going to stuff in my apples. All right, just kind of get them organized in there. And I'm just going to wrap them. Now, I'm only going to do one. You could do 2 or 3 like this. And then just drizzle your caramel sauce. Over the top. Okay, there's one done. Now, next thing I'm going to do is I'm going to make a bananas foster. So for bananas foster, it's kind of the same deal, except I'm just going to take my ripe banana, and I'm just going to a little bit of butter. The rest of my banana. And again, some brown sugar. Now this is Bananas Foster's. I used to make this in the restaurant I worked at, and it would be very expensive. You guys get it for free. Oh. Now, if we were at, if I was at my restaurant, we'd be flambeing this. That means we'd be adding alcohol rum to it. There you go. Bananas Foster. I'm going to switch out my pan now, because the next one I'm going to make is I'm going to make a crepe Suzette. Okay, to make crepe Suzette you need orange juice, right, and sugar. That's about it. So I'm going to use, I don't know, maybe a half a cup of orange juice for this one, but you can decide how much you want. A tablespoon of sugar. And a tablespoon of butter. Just let that melt down. And you want that to thicken up a little bit. So you want it to reduce, because as it reduces, the flavors become stronger. So now here's the trick to this. You start with your crepe. In the pan. And you make a fold and a fold. Let that cook a little bit. And you do your next one. And again, a fold. You let them cook a little bit in there. And the last one I'm going to do is I'm going to keep a little bit of my orange juice here. I'm going to add a little bit of orange juice to it. I'm going to add some sugar. About a tablespoon. Then I'm just going to heat up some strawberries. Kind of get a glaze on there. Let that thicken up. Heat on. There you go, folks. And that, for better or for worse, is our crepe lesson. I think I'm going to retouch crepes again. I'm going to do a stuffed chicken. I'm going to show you how to make a white sauce. So we'll be moving on. This is for tomorrow. You guys have a great day. Remember, somebody loves you. It's just not me. Okay, so now I'm going to stuff my crepes, or I'm going to make the fillings for the different crepes. And I'm going to do at least 3 different kinds here. First thing I want to do is I want to get my fire going again. I'd like to get my fire. Okay.